It's really easy to put too much pressure on myself. It's not like I mean to, but it's hard not to think about being a better version of me. More attentive and patient, smarter, somehow happier, among other things. But I'm not that version of me. I'm this version of me. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve or whatever. I really do want to be a good version of myself, but when there's this pressure, it feels like I'm not enough right now, and it can turn into a negative feedback loop where I don't do the things I know I should do to be better, because I don't think I'm good enough to do them in the first place, which isn't rational or true at all. But it's how I feel sometimes, and how you feel affects what you do, and what you do is the truth. So, what am I? I've always lived in shades of gray, so I'm sure it's more complicated than moving towards one of the two poles on the bad to good spectrum. And I think I've seen at least anecdotal evidence that it's completely impossible to stay the same. This is a slippery slope, and at the bottom I just end up shrugging and feeling like I don't know what to do. Same as I did before I went down it. So, maybe I'm wrong. I try to just put it in God's hands as much as I can and move towards a good life, and I'm sure a couple of you are rolling your eyes at that, but I don't even know if my vision of God cares about me having a good life, or anything for that matter. Might be more so just the nature of things, and what is a good life. I think it means you lived sincerely, but does all this uncertainty of mine count as sincerity? It's how I really feel, and it's what I really am for the moment at least. Is that good? Is it good enough? Sometimes I think about Nietzsche's eternal return, which, for my purposes, is a thought experiment that essentially directs you to ask yourself, if you had to live your entire life exactly as it has been and will be deterministically, over and over again for the rest of eternity, would that be a bad thing? I think it's supposed to measure your contentment or something. Like, if the answer is yes, that would be bad. You probably need to make some changes in your life. That's the implication to me, at least. And I wouldn't mind doing this over and over again. My life is rich and full of interesting things, both beautiful and ugly. But what if I just feel that way because I'm attached to myself and afraid to die? Truly stop being. Maybe that's normal, but I find it philosophically somewhat undesirable. I think it may be the case, though. Even though I'm nearly 30 years old, I only somewhat recently learned how to love my life and what that really means to me. And when you're in those first years of love with someone or something, it's fairly common to have a fear of loss and a kind of insecure attachment phase until the security of the relationship has been better established, I guess. I don't know if this is true, but it sounds right, and I think I've seen this in my own life and others. Either way, I guess all I mean to say is hopefully I'll grow out of that. It really sucks that I put too much pressure on myself. I think it's a form of unconscious self-sabotage. I know this is just a silly little YouTube channel, but it's genuinely kind of intimidating that people have spent over 2,500 hours of human lives watching my little videos. And it's even more intimidating that over half of those 2,500 hours come from just one video that hit the algorithm like peak steroids era Barry Bonds. Was that a fluke? Is that video really just that much better than this video? Can I do that again? Ultimately, I don't do this for views. I do it because I want to. But views are nice and validating, and the idea of making a few bucks off one of my hobbies is enticing. But I have a hard time not exerting pressure on that idea. And then I get writer's block, and I don't upload for a few weeks and get discouraged. And when I come back with a video, it's this video. I have to remind myself that the me I'm looking at in the mirror at any given moment is the only me I have. That this video is the video I have done, and even if it's weird or stupid or gets 0 views, it's still the video I made, and to make any progress at all, I have to be able to accept that as good enough, at least for now, and just press upload, move on to the next thing. It's way easier to just think about how you aren't very good than to try and do something and see how good you actually are. It's even harder to keep building from there. But I think it's worth it to try and let go of thinking about how you'd rather be, and instead try going out and looking for that version of yourself, the real thing. Whether that's through learning, creation, working out, or social avenues, or whatever gets you awake and involved in your own life. And you really shouldn't put too much pressure on yourself. It's gonna be fine. Take my word for it. I could go on forever, really, but I won't. Thanks for letting me talk about that, y'all. I'll see you next time.